Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Sovereign's Non-Amended Tournament number 5. So this will be taking place this Saturday. Friday will be the last day to sign up, and you can go ahead and join the Discord link in the description below and head over to tournaments over here, and that will bring you over to this little section right here. You can read everything here. You can view the ban list here, which we're going to go over here in a second, as well as the general information such as like the entries for you. All you need is a Dueling Book account and a link to your Dueling Book deck list. You can read the other information here in this paste bin if you want to read obviously more into it. And just go ahead and sign up through this Google form. So it's just going to ask you pretty basic information, basically like what your Discord username, your Dueling Book username, your time zone, and your deck list link. So just these 4 simple questions. If you are curious as to how to get your deck list link, I will show you here in a second. So you can go ahead and type in your Discord username. So obviously I'm just going to type in my own right here, and then your Dueling Book username, which you can just put as whatever your Dueling Book username is. My time zone is MST. You can go ahead and literally just Google what is my time zone, and you can figure that out yourself. Typically, if you're in like Eastern US, you're in EST. If you're in Western US, you're PST. And that's like the normal time zones for that. And then you can go ahead and go over to Dueling Book and grab your deck list. So this is just an example list. This is not the deck that I'm going to be playing for this tournament. Most likely, I might change it. I mean, I could go back to this, but I most likely will be changing it. So you can go ahead and hit Export Deck right here and hit Download Link. Make sure this says Download Link and then hit OK. And you're going to be sent a deck list link, and then you can just go ahead and copy this and paste this right here into your deck list link. Do not go ahead and just copy it like this. This will just copy the Dueling Book, literally just the address for Dueling Book. It'll just send you to Dueling Book. You have to get the deck list with this deck ID like URL part right here. So make sure that yours has this deck ID part, otherwise your deck list will not be shown to me. This is just to make sure that your deck list is obviously valid for the tournament because it is running over its specific ban list. And yeah, so another thing that I do want to mention right here is if you scroll down all the way to the bottom and you hit dual records right here, this is how you get replays. So this will show all of the replays that you've played for this entire format. So you can just go ahead and whatever your replay is against your opponent, say I played against Mr. Manthanon right here. This is the replay. It'll show you everything that we did in that game. So you can go ahead and grab the replay link and then just head over to like wherever the report is, and it'll be a very similar place like this to like the deck list link, and then you can just paste that here. So that's just like a general way on how you report your matches. So there's not a link right here in Discord for that at the moment, but there will be something along those lines when the tournament is going and stuff like that. And so every round you're gonna have to report your matches. So moving over to the announcements tab right here, this is the ban list in the picture form. I'm just gonna go through it really quick. So go ahead and pause the video if you want to see stuff. This is the monsters, spells, fusions, just the entire like extra deck, and these are all the traps that are banned, and then every card that is limited and semi-limited is on this list as well. So if you do want to see this, you can go ahead and pause the video where you need to see all of the list. This is in pictured form. There is a second link here in the tournaments tab that is the Google Doc right here, and this will show you the ban list in the Google Doc form. So I'm going to go through that real quick. This is the list as well in like a pretty standard just like ban list format, just how it is on like Konami's website pretty much. So those are the ban list. That's the ban list itself. And if you want to, I'm going to be going over the changes here as well. So we're going to go ahead and go through them right here. So the new banned cards for the main deck, I guess, is a copy of Fossil Dyna and a copy of Evenly Matched. So these two cards are pretty interesting, I guess. They were both pretty, like, you could search Fossil Dyna with Gallant Granite, and then you can special it with Saryuja, and it would put your opponent under a lock. And I felt like that was really unfair since it was a searchable way to do it. So that's why this Fossil Dyna is getting a ban. It's just a floodgate pretty much, so it's pretty degenerate. A copy of Evenly Matched is banned because this was literally like game ending every time it dropped. Even though it was limited, I still felt like it was too much. Plus we have Harpy's Feather Duster, so I feel like this was Feather Duster was a better replacement than Evenly Matched. I limited all of the barrier statues just so barrier statue stun is more irrelevant, I guess, and harder to play, and you basically have to like I guess, figure out which ones are the best ones out of these. I don't know. Then we have an Endymion Mighty Master Magic. This got top 6 in the last non-meta tournament, so that is why it's getting a limit here. We have Graph going to 1. It is at 2 on the TCG ban list, so we did put it down to 1 just because that's where it is the most comfortable, I think, for me, honestly. And then we have Neptibus going to 1, just because this deck isn't really seeing a whole lot of play. Plus with Diva at 1, I think that it didn't really do a whole lot, so I'm giving it back a little bit of power. Then we have Scrap Recycler going to 1. And so this is also an interesting choice, I guess. We're giving some pieces back to Orcus, so I felt like this needed a little bit of a hit just because the Scrap Engine is pretty insane. So that's why that's getting a hit. Thunder Dragon Roar. Thunder Dragon, as you may know, did very well in the previous tournament. I won't spoil anything, but yeah, it did pretty well. Time Thief, same thing. I won't spoil anything, but it did pretty well in the previous tournament, so that's why regular is going to 1. And same thing with Evil Eye Pareidolia, and same thing with Thunder Dragon Fusion and Zombie World. So that is the reasoning behind all of these hits. Thunder Dragon Fusion was originally hit a couple of balances ago, but we are re-hitting it back. Rusty going from 1 to 0. Obviously the TCG put this to 1, and I think that is too much, so we're putting it down to 1. ABC Buster Dragon went from 2 to 1. Obviously in the TCG it's at 2. We're putting it at 1 because in the first non-meta tournament this absolutely dominated, and we're just going to slowly give back the pieces to ABC, so we're not quite ready for this to be at 2, I don't think, but it probably will come back eventually. Galatea went from 0 to 1. So this is a really interesting thing as well, just because I'm trying to give Orcus a little bit of help. That's why I hit the Scrap Engine, obviously. And I think that Gala being to 1 will make the deck at least a little bit more playable. We'll have to see. Traptrix Sarah going from 3 to 1. This did pretty well in the previous tournament as well. No spoilers, obviously, but yeah, did pretty well. Dante went from 3 to 1 because we are giving some pieces back to Burning Abyss in the form of Seer, and I feel like Seer Loop with Dante might be a little too much for non-meta tournament, but it's very possible that it could not be. It could be like not that powerful, so this may come back to 2 or 3 on the next ban list. Seer going from 2 to 1 from the TCG. Actually, technically it's going from 0 to 1 from the non-meta ban list and 2 to 1 from the TCG ban list, so there's 2 different situations. I feel like this is okay to go from 0 to 1. We're going to try it out. There's no more hits to Burning Abyss other than this, the 3 that are on here, so the Graph, the Dante, and the Seer. Obviously, Farfa is going to come to 3, but we'll get to there in a second. Then we have Generator Boss Stage going from 0 to 1. This card is really insane for generators, and I felt like it would be okay, but it is pretty splashable, so this might be interesting to see come to just the 1 copy. Then we have Cyber Dragon Core coming to 2. Basically, all the rest of these unbans, I guess, are just kind of like, you know, they're all the same thing. These decks aren't doing a whole lot. Cyber Dragons aren't doing anything. Infernoids aren't doing anything. Mech Knights aren't doing anything. We banned all the Floodgates, so it's like whatever. Dinos aren't doing anything, and we have Conductor banned, Pill banned, and you know, there's no reason to keep the Overraptor locked as well. With Infernoids, I think that Void Feast is just going to stay at 1 just because it's pretty broken. So Tankotron's probably fine to come back to 3 on the next list. And then we have Cyber Emergency going from 2. Obviously, Cyber Dragon's not doing anything, like I said. Aminador and Archosaur coming to 3. Like I said, Dinos aren't doing anything. I'll skip this Black Dragon for a second, but we have Stratos coming to 3. Heroes didn't really do a whole lot on the previous couple tournaments, so it's fine. Farfa, same thing. I mean, like, Burning Abyss isn't doing a whole lot. This went from 2 to 3, and it's fine, I think. Unauthorized Reactivation. This is an ABC card, so we're slowly peeling it off. This went from 2 to 3, so we're just going to slowly peel them off as we go. Solemn Judgment going from 2 to 3 as well, just because Feather Duster's back in the format, and I felt like it was not even that relevant at 2. And then we're going to come back to this Block Dragon. So Block Dragon is a very, very interesting card here because it was already banned on my list, and then TCG banned it, so I'm taking it off the list, but it's still technically on the list, if that makes sense. It's still banned for the format, but the TCG just did a favor. Obviously, they just took it off the list for me, so it's quite nice. These are all of the changes from the previous list and their status in the non-meta tournament. So obviously these cards are banned. These are at 1. These are at 3. And I can't even pronounce this card, but this card does have the errata, so it's probably fine. And obviously Widow Anchor's at 1. And, you know, obviously whatever status they appear on this picture is what they're at for the non-meta tournament, if you are curious. With all that said, I hope you guys come and join. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope to see you come and play.